Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's MajorLinux here, coming on behalf of MajorsHouse.com. Also, I guess, ThemZero.com as well. Actually, this request came from MajorSophisticationZero podcast, for our podcast with Sophisticates 4 and 004. The request actually came from episode 6. I'm going to have links to, I guess, the playlist with all the shows, iTunes link, what is it? So the Stitcher link. I'm gonna have links to iTunes and the Stitcher link in there. Pretty much in episode 6, I've had a YouTube viewer, I guess fan of the show now, who knows. They wanted me to review a product that I saw on the show. I believe it was a show we came back on after I switched jobs. And where I bought a new laptop. Today I'll be reviewing the, let's see if I can get it here, the Lenovo IdeaPad Yoga 2 Pro. It's very, very thin. And for those who may be in the technology know, I said not only can we go tablet, we can go tent, we can do stand, and just full out tablet. It's fucking amazing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit there and talk about this a little bit. If I can find my MajorsHouse, yeah, there it is. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little video review of this. Pretty much, like I said, I bought this back in April. What was April? Yeah, it was April. It was the weekend before I started working here. I bought it after doing some work with Linux, teaching some Linux. So when I bought it, this model here specifically cost about $1,300. I believe the final invoice is like $1,200. So the laptop itself costs $1,100. There's tax involved and like that. I was able to get it shipped next day at no cost to me through Best Buy, because of the fact that even though they're trying to sell this particular model in the store, because of the fact that it's so fucking new, they wouldn't give me the one that was on display. So I got them to send me one for motherfucking free. That's what I did. Or got them to send me the one for free. So pretty much, like, so I'm gonna talk about some stuff here. Pretty much want to go into, what's good about the laptop here. One is the form factor. Again, like I showed you before, like I said, it's tablet, stand, tent, regular laptop. I mean, it's pretty good. And even with it, I mean, I've used it mainly in stand, and like I said, now I'm kind of using a tablet to kind of give me some notes to look over what I've typed here. So I wrote an outline for the blog. So also, it's like the size. It's 13-inch screen. It's very, very light. Very light. It's definitely lighter than this laptop I bought in 2009 and my wife's laptop that I bought back in 2012. Very, very thin. Like I said, it's about this thick. Folded all the way back, and I would close this, but it would lock me out of so I'm not gonna fold it back. I'm not gonna fold it. But yeah, so there's that. It's very, very small, very, very light. But even though for its size, it's very, very powerful. It does have the 4th generation Intel Core i7 processor. Like I said, normal use it goes up to 1.8 gigahertz, but when it kicks into turbo or whatever it is, the fuck they call it nowadays, it does get up to 2.4 gigahertz. There are 4 cores in here, which is pretty awesome. The main thing I do like about it though is, like I said, there's 8 gigabytes of RAM in here, but the main thing I like, because as you can see I'm just moving this thing all over the place, is the fact that it is using solid state. It has 256 gigabyte for solid state drive, which means that for the most part there are no moving parts in here other than the parts that I move to turn this thing which way and around. Which is really good. I say again, you don't want to move any parts when you have something that can essentially just be a tablet all the time, and you're going to be waving it, branding it about, and kind of handing it off and doing various things when you're talking. So it's very good for that. Resolution is awesome. I want to say it's 3200 by 1800. It makes, like I said, makes your videos look very crisp. Makes your pictures look really, really crisp. I actually had an old point-and-shoot 16 megapixel camera that I ditched for a DSLR because of the fact that I wanted better pictures, and the DSLRs can do a little bit better. So yeah, this computer actually got me to buy a camera. But also another thing here is the Windows 8. Very, very responsive. At least it is right now, just like with any Windows product. I've been using Linux for about 2 years, so hearing people using Windows 8 say, "Oh man, I missed the start screen." So, well, I haven't had a start screen or I missed the start. They like, "Oh man, I missed the start menu." Well, I haven't had a start menu in 2 years, so coming to Windows 8 and not having a start menu doesn't make or break me, because of the fact that the way that Windows 8 is handled, any actions that you do with the start menu or even with the Windows key was similar to what GNOME 3 was doing, especially with Fedora, when Fedora, I think was, I want to say it was 16. I want to say it was Fedora 16 that switched over to GNOME 3. I can't remember how. It's been a while. They, like I said, they release allegedly every 6 months. So, you know, it's Fedora 20 now, it's Fedora 16. That's like 2 years, but yeah, I think it's been more than 2 years. I want to say it's probably back since Fedora 14, where they switched over to GNOME 3, and when you hit the Windows button on the keyboard, it took you to a window similar to where Windows 8 takes you, and GNOME 3 was doing that before Windows did it. So, yeah, doing that was kind of a no-brainer for me. So it's actually pretty interesting to come into that where I can just hit the start button and I can sit there and type whatever it is I want to type and actually go to the program. Also having nice little programs with the live tiles sitting on sitting here is actually pretty awesome. All right, so I'm gonna touch on some bad here. The bad though is the Intel graphics. I kind of figured that for a system that had a Core i7 processor that had 8 GB RAM, oh man, I was gonna play some games. But I can't really hold Intel at fault for that. I can't hold Lenovo at fault for that, because of the fact that it is still an ultrabook laptop. It's not made to be the most powerful thing on the planet when it comes to video games. So yeah, when I figured, hey, I got a PC, 8 GB RAM, Core i7. Sure, I'm gonna play me some video games. No, that was not the case, because of the fact that even though I had that, there was still no dedicated graphic, or no hardcore dedicated graphics chip in there to handle the games that I was trying to play. So you know, that's kind of a issue with me, because of the fact that, you know, I haven't played a PC in God knows how long. I don't know what it takes. Honestly, I have no idea what it takes, other than, you know, people are building beefy ass computers to play the games with, and you know, this obviously isn't that. The other thing too, like I said, the screen resolution is awesome. It was another thing that I noticed, that games that, or applications that aren't necessarily designed to handle a screen resolution bigger than what's in most normal laptops. So I think with this one's 1366 by 768, that's normally what a lot of 15-inch laptops have. I know the Yoga 2 11-inch had a 1366 by 768, and if I wanted to run Linux, I didn't want that, because it looks atrocious. It looks atrocious at that resolution. I wanted something with a better resolution. Yeah, so I can't really attribute this as a loss to the laptop. It's more or less to a lot of application developers who haven't optimized their programs to recognize this as, recognize the high resolution of this screen for a lot of their programs that they have. So like Oracle's VirtualBox is one of them. So they're trying to, because I can't run Fedora natively, or at least I haven't been able to do it easily on this system, I put it in a virtual machine, and installing it on said virtual machine, it looked terrible, because of the fact that VirtualBox isn't necessarily optimized to run on a screen of this resolution. So everything looks really, really itty bitty, and in order for me to make it any better, I would have to kind of blow it up, and it just, to me, it doesn't look all that great. Like, I can change the resolution within VirtualBox for the Fedora system, but it doesn't kind of scale it to the screen. It just kind of makes black or gray bars around the OS, so it's like everything still looks fucking small, but it's like changing resolution and then kind of a screen size to go with it, which didn't particularly care for that too much. Another thing is too, like, so I'm not sure if it's a Windows 8 thing. I want to say that it probably is, given the fact that a lot of Windows 8 machines, are coming in kind of tablet form factors between Windows 8 and Windows RT. There is a feature, just like what you would see with iOS devices, with Android devices. I'm not sure I mean, probably Windows Phone devices as well, maybe BlackBerry, whatever. But normally a lot of smartphone devices, you have what's called adaptive brightness, which, you know, if in a light room, the screen would dim, and if you're in a dark room, the screen will get brighter. Because, like I said, all the ambient light, if there's more light in the room, we'll need to brighten the screen as much, because you can see it with, what's going on here. However, in Windows 8, I'm not sure if it's the laptop or if it's the software trying to handle it. It doesn't work as well as you want it to. Like I said, I mean, it works for maybe like a day before the screen just kind of cuts out and wants to flicker. It's a big deal when you want to use something that is essentially cool technology that can help you with your battery, but it breaks every fucking 2 days. It's not something that you want to keep on all the time or at all, because you never know when it's going to break. I've never been able to pinpoint at what time it breaks. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's the laptop itself or it's the OS. Like I want to say it's more or less the OS, because every time, like, there are actually blog posts dedicated to turning it off in Windows 8. So it doesn't seem like it's just happening with my laptop, my tablet. It seems like it's happening all around, and I want to say it's mainly Windows 8. I haven't heard anything with RT, but then people may be associating Windows RT with Windows 8, Windows 8.1. So there is that. So yeah, like I've touched on to not being able to install Linux, and that's because of the fact that with UEFI, it's kind of it's an open source replacement for BIOS. But what they've done with UEFI is actually put in secure boot, which you know, keeps hackers from putting rootkits, putting viruses in the BIOS, like essentially, you know, get into a system and fuck things up at an even deeper level. So with secure boot, has a little handshake between the BIOS and the OS, so you're able to do BIOS level things within the OS and OS level things within the BIOS, and it's pretty awesome. Like, so UEFI was pretty cool. I mean, it still is, but with the secure boot part of that, it's keeping me from being able to install Linux the way I want to. It's kind of a hassle, and I'm pretty sure I can get it done. There, if people have been able to install Linux on the Yoga, but like I said, still more of a kind of a dedicated effort. And while I was still trying to learn it, still trying to get used to what was going on here, I didn't want to break the laptop. That would stop me from doing all of that. I would rather have the one operating system and not have Linux, as opposed to not having any operating system, because I was intent on having Linux. That's why I run it in a virtual machine, because I have it on my server here. And obviously when I build a bigger server, I'm definitely going to have it on there as well. So I'm not really lacking Linux. I'm still keeping the Linux hand strong, but it's just something that's not being run as a daily driver on the laptop right now. Mainly too because, like, my job requires me to. A lot of things are being used in Windows, and it's kind of nice to have something where I can kind of go back and forth between my Windows 8 machine at work, my Windows 8 laptop here, and kind of just keep things going with little to no hiccups. Also, a big thing too that I've noticed, is with the Ultrabook specification. Oh shit! I closed Word. Fantastic! I think I'm done. With the Ultrabook specification, what the thing that's supposed to be included with it is called wireless display. Essentially, what it is allows me to be able to wirelessly transmit any signals coming from my laptop to my TV, any wireless display enabled device, any Miracast device. Unfortunately for this one, I'm not sure if it's just this laptop. I've seen a lot of things with this laptop, and it may be only because of the fact I've only Googled things or done Google searches with this laptop. I mean, about this laptop. It's been some issues. Like I said, apparently it used to work in Windows 8. But like I said, I bought this laptop after the Windows 8.1 update, which came out in October. And that's when it kind of seemed to have broken things. Like, apparently, like I said, I bought the Netgear Push to TV. And I'm having issues pushing things to TV with it because of the fact that, like I said, it would see it. It would allow me to do it. That the closest I got into was able to install drivers and kind of see it. But every time I would see it, it would show up as disabled. So there was kind of no need for me. And like I'm actually going to return the device because of the fact I can't use it. My Nexus 7 is too old to be able to use Miracast technology because it's not built in. My cell phone isn't working, which is kind of strange. But then they say that it works with HTC One and not HTC One Max. But they definitely said it's supposed to work with this laptop specifically, and it doesn't. and it's kind of a just plain old isn't going to work. It's very, very unfortunate, but I mean, I don't know. So conclusion. I mean, even though there are some hiccups for this thing, even if you read the blog post, it seems like there's more hiccups than there are good things about it. I still think that, you know, I mean, if you have the pockets for it, I mean, it's definitely a great buy. There are definitely cheaper options. I think smaller versions. I think Windows RT versions of this laptop at 11 inches start at like $5.99. So it's a very, very good product. I love it. You should definitely check it out. The Ultrabook line is fantastic no matter which product you go with. I mean, I'm just a big fan of Lenovo. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely check it out whenever you can. Again, my name is MajorLinux. Marcus Summers in the building. This is with MajorsHouse.com. If there's anything else, you know, like to talk about, hey, let me know. Hit me up. Also, definitely check us out at MajorSophisticationZero. We have live shows on Google Plus and YouTube. Check us out Wednesdays at 10 o'clock p.m. provided between school and work, you know, we should be there every Wednesday, 10 o'clock p.m. I mean, unless otherwise stated. It's definitely right. Check us out on iTunes and Stitcher as well. But yeah, so this has been review of the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro. Check it out. Peace.